All right. Good evening and welcome to the 10th Wolff New Venture Competition. I'm Jennifer Matthew, the Executive Director of the Connecticut Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation at UConn. It's incredible to see this room filled with so many people who have shaped this program. Past program participants and finalists. We have mentors, investors, alumni, and friends. When this event began 10 years ago, it was a way to showcase the promising ventures emerging from UConn's entrepreneurial ecosystem. What it's become since then is extraordinary. It's a launchpad for startups who are solving real-world problems and turning their ideas into thriving businesses. These founders represent the very best of UConn. People who take on challenges in healthcare, sustainability, technology, and beyond, and have the courage to bring their ideas to life. And the results speak for themselves. Over the past decade, companies that have come through this competition have gone on to raise more than $694 million in follow-on funding. And just look at some of the ventures that have started right here on this stage. Veradermics, which just announced an oversubscribed $150 million Series C to advance the potential first and only extended release oral treatment designed specifically for hair regrowth in men and women. Phoenix Tailings, redefining sustainable metal production, recently raised a $76 million Series B and is literally celebrating the grand opening of its first commercial metal production facility in Exeter, New Hampshire tonight. One with Swim, founded by UConn alumni Haley Seeger, brought her innovative swimwear line to ABC Shark Tank, where she landed a deal with 2 sharks and has since built a rapidly growing national brand. And Encapsulate, a biotech company using cutting-edge microtechnology to personalize cancer treatment, has raised more than $10 million in grants, including more than $5 million from NASA to build their next-generation biochips and microgravity aboard the International Space Station. And they're not our only startup in space. Lambda Vision, the first ever winner of the Wolff New Venture Competition, has secured over $18 million in funding and has now launched 9 missions on the International Space Station to advance their protein-based artificial retina technology. And I could spend the rest of the night going through the list of accolades because there are so many. These companies are proof that entrepreneurship at UConn is more than ideas. It's about impact. It's about seeing possibilities where others see barriers, about translating innovation into outcomes that improve lives, create jobs, and strengthen our innovation ecosystem. And tonight, we are proud to add 5 new startups to the growing list of Wolff New Venture Competition alumni. The teams you'll hear from tonight join us after completing our Summer Fellowship Accelerator, an intensive 8-week program designed to help founders build, refine, and test their ventures. Over the past few months, these entrepreneurs have made remarkable progress in strengthening their business models, gaining traction, and preparing to share their vision with all of you tonight. And I am so excited for you to meet them. The Wolff New Venture Competition has become a symbol of what's possible when people come together around a shared belief that great ideas deserve great opportunities. And none of this happens without this amazing community. So today, as we celebrate this milestone year, I want to thank our mentors, our sponsors, our judges, our alumni, our supporters, the people who have fueled this ecosystem and believed in our founders from the start. I would also like to thank our amazing team at CCEI for building this event into what it's become. You'll get the chance to meet several of them here on stage tonight, but I want to call them out by name. Alicia, Rachel, Kate, Michaela, Rory, Michelle, Nick, Megan, Sona, Alexia, Haley. Join me in giving them a round of applause for putting this together. So this 10th anniversary isn't just a reflection on how far we've come. It's a preview to what's ahead. Because if the last 10 years have shown us anything, it's that this next decade will bring even more groundbreaking ideas, courageous founders, and world-changing ventures. Thank you for being part of this celebration and for being part of our journey. So I would now like to invite to the stage a member of the Wolff family who has helped build and shape this program alongside the team at CCEI, Greg Wolff. Greg and his brother Gary have been true champions of entrepreneurship at UConn and honestly our biggest cheerleaders. They're always the first people we share success stories with about our startup founders because we know how much it means to them to see these entrepreneurs achieving great things. And Greg is going to share the story of how this program came to be, a story that actually began long before this competition's first year, back when entrepreneurship programs and pitch competitions were far less common. And Greg, as you join me on stage, come here. So as you join me on stage, and before I officially hand this over to you, I have the honor of presenting to you and your family a certificate of recognition from U.S. Senator Chris Murphy in celebration of the 10 years of impact through the Wolff New Venture Competition.
Wow, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice. Yes.
Okay, and I'm just gonna read really quick, so you can have this.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take that back from you. In recognition of the Wolff family decade of philanthropy, leadership, and commitment to fostering innovation and entrepreneurship at the University of Connecticut, and in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Wolff New Venture Competition, we honor their enduring contributions from establishing UConn's first entrepreneurship programming in the late 1980s. That's a long time ago. Bringing legendary entrepreneurs to campus to inspire students, to fueling the creation of the Connecticut Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. The Wolff family's impact has shaped generations of innovators, strengthened Connecticut's economy, and advanced the entrepreneurs of tomorrow. So Greg, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for all you have done for entrepreneurship here at UConn.
Thank you. You're such a sweetheart. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, I did not expect that. She didn't prepare me for that part of it, but thank you. And I couldn't agree with Jen more that the people she just mentioned in recognition from CCEI and what they've done with this program over the last 10 years is incredible. So first, good evening. I was asked to kind of give a history of where this program started from and how we got here. So my dad, Tom Wolff, was an incredible businessman and entrepreneur. His whole life, he worked at different businesses to make them successful until he passed away in 2008. I'm here tonight representing the family, and so let me kind of mention, if I could, my mom, who's going to be turning 97. She was a partner of my dad in every way. They were married for 60-plus years, and she supports this program. My brother Gary, who can't be here, he and I have worked together since the 80s, along with our dad for part of that time on entrepreneurship at UConn. And my sister, who is a graduate of UConn, as am I, she is in North Carolina, but she's a big proponent of the program as well. I also have my son here, Keith. He's my partner. A really good partner, I might add, and I just wanted to have him stand up because he'll probably be the heir apparent to this in the not-too-distant future. So, Keith, stand up. Come on. Thank you. So, Mom and Dad were married when they were 20 years old. 2.5 years later, they had me. I'm the eldest, Greg, and my dad was serving in the Korean War, and so he wasn't there when I was born. When he came back, he realized he wanted to go to college, and he had a dream of being a farmer. And at that time, UConn, and still is, was one of the top agricultural schools, so he decided he was going to go there. Well, as time went on, he decided he better earn some money because he had a family, so he started going around to the regional farmers and testing milk on the weekends or when he wasn't in class. And made friends with the farmers and really enjoyed it. And then the second semester of his sophomore year, a friend of his, Ron Bushwell, who was captain of the basketball team his senior year, said, "You should try a course with me in the business school. It's an insurance course. And Tom, I really want you to do this with me." So he did, and there was a professor there at the time named Dave Ivory, and he was the head of insurance. And my father was in that course for the entire semester, and believe it or not, he changed his major, wanted to be in the insurance business instead of farming, and that summer got his licenses for health and life so he could start selling insurance while he was going to school to help fund the family. So that was pretty incredible, and he stayed in that, graduated in the business school. And when he got out, over the next 20 years, he built an incredible life insurance practice. He was one of the largest producers in the country. He established a selling system called capital need analysis, and that system was totally different than anything else that had been done by the life insurance industry. At that time, when people bought insurance, they kind of took their assets and they used them for their life expectancy. And my dad's system was designed to deal with the needs of those clients and to also preserve the capital, if possible, for the next generation. So that really took off, and believe it or not, in a very short period of time, maybe 6 or 7 years, he had 100+ major life insurance companies that were buying his system from his publishing company. And that included New York Life, Metropolitan, Prudential, and all of the large companies. So in 1985, he came to Gary and I, and he said, you know, we should try and do something up at UConn for entrepreneurship. He was the ultimate entrepreneur because he had not only the life insurance business and the publishing company, he also had a property casualty agency. He also had a benefits agency for retirement and employee benefits, group health insurance. And he also had a real estate company. So he had 5 different companies he was actually operating himself with others. So we decided we would try to talk to UConn. He did, in relationship to having a course in entrepreneurship. And they just poo-pooed us right out and said, no, we don't need entrepreneurship here. So that was in '85. We decided, and really it was him that decided, to have an entrepreneurship day where we would invite a speaker. These were very prominent entrepreneurs. I'll give you some examples. Julius Erving, Dr. J. We had Mark McCormick, who was the leading sports agent at the time, the founder of Subway, and so on. And we had that once a year, and we have a whole day where many students in the business school and also in the master's program would come. So we did that for a lot of years. It went over okay. I won't say it was great. And then Dad started to get a little sick in the early 2000s, and so it kind of waned for a while. And we then tried to do some seminars and some classes, but really nothing took. In 2015, we have a professorship, an endowed professorship, that is called the Thomas and Betty Wolff Strategic Entrepreneurship Chair. And that is given to Tim Folta in the business school. And Tim came to Gary and I, and he said, I have an idea. He says, how about if we hold an entrepreneur contest? And let's see if we can get some entrepreneurs from the school to participate, and let's try it and see how it works. So that first year we had, I believe, 4 people who did it. There was not 25 to 10 to 5, there was 4. And of the 4, we had 1 winner, and that winner got $10,000 at the time. Well, since then, as you know, and as you heard, it's taken off. And here we are today. We had 25 teams go to 10 teams, down to 5 teams tonight, and we're going to give away $150,000. And that's not all from the Wolff family. That's from a variety of other sponsors with us, and friends and clients and things like that. So it's pretty amazing. I will thank a variety of the people later, but I just have to say that the Wolff family is very happy to be a part of this event. When it started, we had no idea, no dream that it would be like this. And here we are, so appreciative to be a part of the Wolff competition. Our dad is looking down at us tonight, smiling, because this is what I dreamed. I knew entrepreneurship would eventually take off. And he's also saying, you know, this Budweiser is for you. Oh no, this event is for you. And so I thank you on behalf of all of us and our family, because we are excited about the evening, and I'll let the speakers get up here to get started.
Thank you so much, Greg, for all of that history and great stories. We really appreciate all that you've done. So now I would like to ask Alicia Krasniak, CCI's Assistant Director of Venture Development, to join me on stage to share more about the prizes, the sponsors, and the judges for tonight's event. Alicia.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Alicia Krosniak, and I am the Assistant Director of Brand and Venture Development here at CCEI. So I oversee all of our venture development programs, including this lovely evening that you are at tonight. I have the privilege of working with UConn founders and aspiring founders every day in my job. I get to watch them pitch their first idea at our Get Seated pitch nights, work through different elements of their business model and pitch deck at our traction workshops, finesse their customer segments and figure out their commercialization potential in our NSF iCore program, shepherd them through our summer fellowship accelerator, where they then hopefully are selected for tonight. Tonight we not only have 5 startups pitching, but also 30 UConn affiliated startups tabling in the showcase area, which you all saw earlier, hopefully. These startups all have a founder that is either a student, faculty, staff, alumni of UConn, or they have participated in a UConn CCEI program or have been involved with CCEI in a number of ways over the years. When the Wolff competition started 10 years ago, as Greg mentioned, it was one $20,000 prize check. And as Jen noted earlier, the Wolff family has been instrumental in supporting entrepreneurship at UConn. And this event really makes their influence apparent. They have seen what is possible from UConn entrepreneurs, and every year they've increased the amount of the first place prize. They've also rallied around us at CCEI and helped us raise funding for additional prizes and to put on the event itself. So today, on the 10th anniversary, we are grateful and thrilled to be awarding 12 prizes worth over $152,000 in non-dilutive funding and pro bono services to our startups. Yeah. This funding and support is instrumental in getting startups off the ground. My favorite part of the Wolff New Venture Competition actually comes about 3 months from now, when the emails start coming in from founders and they tell us what they've been able to accomplish, and thanks to the funding that they received tonight. So I would like to extend a huge thank you to our prize sponsors for helping to move UConn innovations forward. The Wolff family, Wigan and Dana, Fiandella, Milone, and La Saracena CPAs, Reverie, Big Bang, Prime Materials Recovery Inc., Bay State Financial, and Mark and Jamie Summers. I would also like to thank our event sponsors for helping us put on this growing event and to be able to celebrate properly with you all. Sardilli Produce and Dairy, Webster Bank, Bob and Linda Delisle, Eric Marziali, Dick and Carol Stewart, Event Resources, and Summit OS. So at this point, I would like to introduce you all to our judges who will be making the tough decisions during the pitch competition tonight. So, judges, can I have you stand? And David, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm David Bergman, the Associate Dean for Faculty and Research at the School of Business. Thank you all for being here. It's an amazing event. I'm always thoroughly impressed at what the people at UConn and the School of Business are doing. Greg, I'm happy that people had the foresight to actually allow us to have entrepreneurship. And Jen, thank you for putting together such a great event. I'm excited to learn about the companies. I'm sure you all are too. Thank you and welcome.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Michelle Augustin. I am a business advisor with the Connecticut Small Business Development Center. For those of you who don't know, we provide business advising services to small businesses across the state of Connecticut. I'm also an adjunct faculty at the UConn School of Business. I think it's really wonderful to see so many familiar faces in this audience. I find it a privilege to be part of Connecticut's entrepreneurial ecosystem to help an entrepreneur really realize their vision. I thank CCEI for inviting me to be a judge tonight, and I look forward to hearing all the pitches. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Rich Vogel. I am not an academic, not an educator, but I am an entrepreneur. I run a venture collective in New York City. We've got about 20 companies in the portfolio now, some of them quite big, and we've had our share of unicorns. But I will tell you, it all starts here. Every one of those companies, no matter how big they are, no matter how we exited, or if they didn't make it at all, they all start with an idea, an inspired thought that aha moment, and you should all be very proud of what you're doing. It is a noble endeavor, and I believe this is what we do better in this country than anywhere in the world. So I look forward to meeting you all.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Barrett. I am decidedly more corporate than the three judges that have come before me. Maybe just for a little bit of context, my husband Sam and I live in South Glastonbury, Connecticut. My entire career has been in finance. I spent about 15 years at BlackRock, where I was most recently head of sustainable investing for their $360 billion alternative investment platform based in New York City. After that, I was a managing director at Goldman Sachs, where I was a leader on their impact investment platform. In the years that I was there, we secured over $3 billion to direct towards sustainable businesses and projects in the US and abroad. And since leaving Goldman Sachs earlier this year, I've been doing board advisory work and angel investing for startups in the United States.
Hi, I'm Joe DiMartino, and I'm an investor here in Connecticut, angel investor in Connecticut. I helped start a group called Angel Investor Forum, one of the largest angel groups in Connecticut, well, the largest angel group in Connecticut, several years ago. And I've been fairly active, working with startups, investing in startups, and over about 90 of them over the course of the last 15 or so years. A lot of those Connecticut companies, a few of them here in this room tonight. I've been active with UConn off and on over the years, helping start the UConn Innovation Fund to get companies who are coming out of UConn off the ground and giving a few bucks to them to get them started. And to echo what some of the other folks have said, it all starts with support systems like what you're seeing here. Companies that are just getting started really need more than just money. They need people who know what they're doing. They need people who have been there, who can give them advice and help them move along. And that's what these types of programs do. And so I thank everybody who's been involved in this. It's been a great program.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so now we're going to get our program started. So at this point, I would like to turn it over to CCEI's Associate Director, Professor Rory McGloin, who has kindly agreed to MC the evening for us. Rory.
Good evening, everyone. I don't think Greg would let it go on if I didn't do it if I was here, so I'm really grateful for that. Before we begin, just taking a moment to look around and appreciate this event for a second, the space where we are, to be in Parkville tonight, to be in Hartford tonight, to know that the innovators are in a space that we care so deeply about for many of us. And Alicia, I know you had a lot of people help you, but congratulations on putting on another amazing event. Job well done. My name is Roy McGloin. I am a professor of business communication here at the University of Connecticut. I'm also the associate director at CCEI. But for the next hour or so, I'll be serving as our MC for this evening's pitch competition. As many have stated before me, this competition represents a very important milestone on the entrepreneurial journey for all of our startup founders. We bring together an audience of our community partners, esteemed guests, and some inquisitive investors to listen to these innovators tell the story of their business, and in turn, their vision for making our world a better place. Over the last several months, I've had the personal, distinct honor of working very closely with each of these talented entrepreneurs in an effort to hone their skills, not only in their presentation, but in the story that they'll be pitching to you this evening. Their goal is to engage your emotions, to influence your thoughts, and ultimately move you to action. And while these presenters have been working diligently on these presentations for the past several months, they have been preparing for moments like this their whole lives. So, and without further ado, let's set the stage for how the competition will unfold in greater detail. As mentioned by Greg, 5 startups have been selected from the 2025 CCEI Summer Fellowship Accelerator Program. And tonight, those 5 teams are here, and they'll have 7 minutes to pitch their business and their calls to action. Following each presentation, there will be a 5-minute period of Q&A with our judges. And I've checked with the judges beforehand because we're running a tight ship on time, but they'll have plenty of inquisitive questions for our presenters. But that's not all. In an effort to keep the evening exciting and interacting for every single one of you here, there is an Audience Choice Award sponsored by FML. Therefore, following this evening's final presentation, I'll be directing your attention to the screen where there'll be a QR code for you to cast your vote to determine who will win this year's FML Audience Choice Award. Are we ready to get started? Are you ready to get started? Up first this evening is Vanessa Sina, founder and CEO of MLC Nutrition. Vanessa is building the nation's first food as medicine clinic, combining medically tailored meals, primary care, and technology to help with chronic conditions so that people can live longer and healthier lives. But if you know Vanessa, her groundbreaking work is also being recognized by the hospitals and Medicaid programs and the innovation hubs throughout our entire country. Vanessa is driven by more than innovation. She leads with a full heart, a lot of hustle, and a soul that is dedicated to helping others. Please help me give a warm welcome to our stage for our very first presenter of the evening, Vanessa Sina.
Thank you. Thank you, Rory. Hi, everyone. I'm Vanessa, and I grew up in a family that would be considered low income. And when I'm talking about my family, I don't just mean my immediate family. I mean my grandmother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, everyone. We were on government assistance, and we were on food stamps. But the food we had access to was cheap, highly processed, and completely disconnected from health. That food made us sick. And I saw too many members of my family develop high blood pressure, high cholesterol, type 2 diabetes. Insulin injections turned into amputated limbs, and ultimately an early death. But I've come to realize this isn't just my family it's happening to. This is happening everywhere. In fact, 3 out of 4 Americans currently suffer from at least one chronic condition. And while the solution seems simple, prescribe healthy food and nutrition support to those who need it. But here's the catch. 90% of nutrition interventions happen at home, and hospitals aren't built to make that happen. So hospitals know nutrition matters. They know because they see the same patients with chronic disease come back to the hospital again and again. But those hospitals can't treat the patient once the patient is at home. So what happens? A doctor refers a patient to a dietitian, hands them a pamphlet, and it ultimately ends up in the trash. Well, what does that cost? Last year, 2,200 hospitals were penalized by Medicare for readmissions. That's $320 million in fines. But the real cost is in the missed opportunity. So how do we help hospitals not just avoid losses, but also generate revenue? So MLC Nutrition is the first virtual food as medicine clinic that partners with hospitals and helps them avoid losses and also generate revenue. We do that by partnering with the hospitals, offering care coordination, medically tailored meals, nutrition support, and behavioral health counseling, all while integrating with the hospital's EHR system. What does that mean for hospitals? Well, for every 100 patients, if we can avoid 10 readmissions, that will save the hospital $150,000. But in value-based care, when every time we have an unengaged patient, another readmission, or an avoidable ER visit, that actually eats at the hospital's bottom line. So how do we save them money? We can Awesome. Sorry. So when a patient also has strong engagement in value-based care, the hospital can not just avoid losses, but they actually can make between $500 to $2,000 per patient. So that's $200,000 in value-based care revenue that the hospital wouldn't get otherwise. So we actually help them generate revenue. And it's already working. We partnered with Connecticut Community Care, their state Medicaid fiduciary. When working with them, we worked with 50 patients, all high risk and low income. We offered medically tailored meals, nutrition, and behavioral health support. Out of those 50 patients, we were actually able to avoid 5 readmissions, and we saved the state $75,000. We also were able to help the state earn $60,000 in shared savings and quality bonuses. Can I get some water? So how do we make money? We make money through 2 core channels. One, we subcontract under a hospital's value-based care arrangement, earning us a per member per month fee. We also work under a fee-for-service model, so we're able to bill Medicaid and other payers for our provider services. Excuse me. And I'm sure you're asking yourself if there's an actual market here. The answer is absolutely. We are entering a $4.1 trillion market that's begging for innovation. In the food as medicine space is growing. It's set to triple by 2032 from $12 billion to over $36 billion. But what's important to note is that 70% of our hospitals are already operating on a value-based care model, so this is huge. Our competition is great. We have companies like Season Health and Performance Kitchen that is proving that reimbursable meals work, but here's the problem. They stop at the plate. They deliver food while we deliver outcomes with full coordinated care for our patients. Our go-to-market strategy is already underway. We got really good news this year when UConn Health and Vanderbilt Health have agreed to move forward on a value-based care pilot with us. So by early next year, we'll be starting those pilots. By the end of the year, we'll expand on those pilots, plus bring on an additional 3 hospitals. By the end of 2027, we'll be able to reach 2,500 patients. And by the end of 2028, we'll reach over 12,500 patients nationwide. The way we make our money, so basically under the value-based care model, with every patient, we'll be able to earn over $5,000. So by the end of 2028, with a 40% engagement rate, we'll be able to generate over $25 million, and that's with a strong positive EBITDA. And our break-even will be at 800 patients. Our team blends clinical, tech, and public health expertise with talent coming from Montefiore, Cincinnati Children's, UCLA Health, and of course, UConn. With the $30,000, we'll be able to upgrade to Athena EHR. This will allow us to scale nationally and integrate with big hospital systems EHRs. We'll also hire 1 dedicated care coordinator, the person who connects our patients with our providers and our hospitals. With this $30,000, we'll be able to move forward on these pilots, and it will touch 115 lives immediately. We'll be able to create 2 workforce jobs through our kitchen partners. We'll add additional revenue to small farmers, and most importantly, we'll be able to prove our model. MLC Nutrition is redefining what healthcare looks like, from reactive to preventative, from hospital walls to home kitchens, because we all know that food is medicine, but we need to make it healthcare. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. Judges? Brianna.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
One of the things that you alluded to at the very beginning is that access to nutritious food is not equally available and is oftentimes unaffordable to people, which can lead to health outcomes. How does what your company is doing provide that access in addition to advising on the most sensible nutrition plans?
Yeah, no, great question. We actually partner with local kitchens and local farmers. So we provide produce boxes, we provide medically tailored meals, all local, all delivered to a patient's home. So actually we're able to deliver to rural places as well. We can deliver all through Connecticut. We're going to be starting with Vanderbilt, that's in Nashville. We all know Tennessee has many rural areas. So partnering with different systems that can deliver that food is essential.
Joe?
Thanks, Vanessa. That was great.
Thank you.
So a couple of questions about your go-to-market strategy. I mean, the process for what you're providing is fairly complex. You got to get on the ground with the local providers and everything else. So how are you going to actually reach out to potential customers and then build the network to support those customers?
So what we've done so far is we've actually been able to go through referral process in the hospital system themselves. In fact, with UConn Health, our first pilot was actually with Dr. Andrea Shields, who you guys will all meet very soon. She was able to refer us to the president of lifestyle medicine at UConn, who and then in turn referred us to Dr. Decaus, which is the person who's going to be starting our pilot next year. We haven't had any issues because we've also been referred to St. Francis, Hartford Healthcare, Northwell Health, and even Kaiser Permanente Mid-Atlantic. So far it hasn't been an issue of being able to have that outreach, but that doesn't mean our sales strategy isn't going to come and kick into play when necessary. And then we have all that set in play.
Thank you, Vanessa. I caught Michelle's eye, and she has a question for you.
Thank you, Vanessa. I have one question about what happens after services are provided. So I understand your go-to-market is through hospitals. Mm-hmm. Is there a time limit that people can access these services through this sort of reimbursable billing model? Mm-hmm. What happens once they hit their insurance limits? How do you make sure that then they're not set up for
it actually works the opposite. So with value-based care, we set up an agreement. We set up a predetermined time limit for that pilot. Right now it's 18 months. So we'll work with the patient for 18 months, including after the full integration, which after the meals are done, after the regular dietitian support, we actually follow up for the next year to make sure that they're staying on track. If the patient then needs again to go through the program, we'll work on it at that time.
Thanks, Vanessa. I think Dave has a question.
Vanessa, love the mission. Have you thought about how you can track the outcomes so you can prove how good you're doing? That'll be difficult with data, of course, in that space. So what are you doing? What can you do? And what can't you do?
Yeah, so one of the great things about integrating with the hospital's EHR is that we're getting those medical records. So anytime there's blood work that's done, anytime there's a follow-up that's done with the patient, we're bringing that in and we're tracking it. We also have to understand risk scores. So we normally work with patients that are high risk because those are usually the patients that are continuing to come into the hospital. So we're able to work with them, and everything is data-driven. In value-based care, we have to prove outcomes. So that means we have to show adherence, we have to show if the patient's actually ordering, we have to understand what they're ordering, all the data. So it's all of that is essential to our program.
Thank you, Vanessa. Judges, any other questions? You have time for one more. Yep. Next, Rich.
Hey, thanks, Vanessa. By the way, this is an important space, a really important space, so thank you for working on it. One question about your business model. You said there's somewhere around $5,300 in revenue per fully engaged patient, right?
Correct.
What is a fully engaged patient, and is there a spectrum for not fully engaged?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a really great example in behavioral health. Now, a patient gets 52 sessions a year to work with the behavioral health specialist, but they might not take advantage of that. So that would not be considered a fully engaged patient.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. Judges, you're off to a hot start, right? 5 minutes on the hot, so we'll keep
Awesome.
that going tonight. How about one big round of applause for Vanessa Sina? Folks, before we give our next presentation, there are plenty of seats still available up in the front. We'd love to invite some of our friends and guests to come on up and find yourself a seat. There's still 2 and 3 next to each other, so if you're here with a friend, there's plenty of space. If you'd like to make your way on up right now, we'd love to have you come on up. Speaking of which, let's take a moment to thank all the folks here at Parkville and all of our great food vendors this evening that helped to keep us well watered and well fed. I hope you've all had an opportunity to enjoy that this evening. It's interesting, all of our food this evening is still, as delicious as it may be, served on plastic plates and plastic-coated wrappers. But picture this, a future where all of our food packaging, our takeout trays, not only do they perform better, they're safer for our health, and they're still 100% compostable to protect our environment. Our next founder is turning that vision into a reality by functionalizing paper with seaweed. The goal is simple. Your next meal should never be served in unsafe materials. By turning coastal biomass into valuable safety coatings, this innovative technology helps keep food safe while protecting coastal communities. Please help me welcome to the stage Yidan Zhang from Seesaw.
Plastic pollution isn't just an environmental issue anymore. Microplastics are being found in our food, our water, our daily life, and even our bodies. To prevent the use of plastics, food brands are chasing towards paper, but plain paper simply doesn't hold up against grease, moisture, heat. That's why your burger wrap turns soggy, your donut leaves a sticky mess, and your paper straw falls apart after 3 sips. To fix it, the industry is coating paper with plastics. How ridiculous is that? So the real question isn't whether customers want a better solution. It is who will ultimately give them one. Therefore, after spending my entire PhD working on seaweed-based materials, I decided to create Seesaw, a marine compostable seaweed coating for paper packaging. Here in UConn, we developed a patent-pending technology that allows us to convert seaweed directly into a coating that enables paper to perform like plastic, but without the use of plastics at all. The papers will be safe, it will be high performance, scalable, but still remains fully compostable. Seesaw's technology starts by harvesting Connecticut local seaweed. We partner with local growers who share our commitment of cleaning water and supporting resilient coastal economies. Instead of drying, grinding, and rehydrating like the current seaweed industry does, we process the seaweed directly using a one-step technology developed in UConn. That allows us to minimize energy consumption and still retain the functionality of seaweed. The result is a ready-to-apply coating that can be integrated directly onto any existing flexographic printing lines, the status quo of the current paper packaging industry. That means no retooling, no new infrastructure, and no extra steps. In Seesaw's ecosystem, we create seaweed coating and we partner with paper converters, and together we create a coated paper product that flows through distributor to restaurants who will ultimately serve their consumers who are in need of packaging that are safer, better, and compostable. Sitting upstream in this ecosystem, we empower the entire value chain to open up to new markets by serving better food in better packaging. We start by a focused segment, 60 million market for coatings that own food packaging for local fast carrier food services. That's a market we already see direct consumers' interest. Moving forward, we'll expand to a 2 billion market for all functional coatings on compostable paper as demand rises for non-plastic barrier coatings. Ultimately, we'll open up to a 37 billion total addressable market for any kind of food packaging that demands functionality, compostability, and food safety. With that market size, we for sure have competitors. Sway and Notpla are both working on seaweed-based materials, where Denimer is working on plant-based bioplastics called PHA. while others rely on expensive biopolymers, non-standard application methods, or multi-step chemistry, Seesaw's technology is designed to meet the reality of food packaging and offers the combined benefits being microplastic-free, marine compostable, and most importantly, low in cost. Seesaw is pursuing a three-phase business model. We will start by collaborating with local paper converters to tailor our formulation based on their needs of grease, heat, and moisture resistance. Once validated, we will sell ready-to-apply coatings to other paper converters, further expanding our market. For those who would like to create the coating in-house, we can do sub-licensing and offer technical support for on-site implementation. This hybrid model allows us to scale without owning expensive paper coating lines and achieve an early break-even in 2028. In the first quarter of 2026, we will acquire essential equipment that allows us to manufacture at 1 kilogram per hour. That is sufficient to produce materials coating 10,000 medium-sized to-go boxes and allow us to have enough material to run our pilot trials with paper converters. Moving forward, in late 2026 through early 2027, we will optimize product performance based on the feedback from earlier pilot trials and start working on gaining certification for direct food contact safety and compostability. In late 2027, with the certifications, we will do a soft launch of seasonal product with local food services. In 2028, we will manufacture at continuous production so that we can launch our first product, transitioning from R&D to revenue. My name is Yidan Zhang. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Seesaw. I have 6 years experience in traditional plastics industry with 3 years experience in seaweed-based materials. I'm joined by my co-founder, Jonathan McGee, a seaweed farmer and a packaging industry veteran with more than 20 years experience. Together, we bring deep expertise and operational know-how. We are supported by our advisor, Dr. Mingyu Qiao, who's also an expert in materials innovation and entrepreneurship. Our ask today is $50,000 so that we could acquire this used pilot scale equipment that allows us to do manufacturing immediately. This will allow us to gather sufficient materials so that we can start pilot trials with a Connecticut local paper converter who's also a US leading packaging provider, providing Lindt chocolate and Estee Lauder. This equipment will also allow us to scale up so that we can meet the need for our initial customers. Better paper, no plastic. Join me to make this happen with Seesaw.
Fantastic presentation, Yidan.
Thank you.
Judges, Michelle's got the microphone. She's ready to go.
Thank you for your presentation. This is fascinating. I was curious, do you have to go through any type of FDA approval for this coating to be added to paper products to become part of our sort of food system?
That's a very good point. We do need to follow FDA's guidance of direct food contact manufacturing, which is not like an approval, it's just a guideline. And because the materials we've been using are all GRAS, generally recognized as safe, so they are already food grade. As long as we follow the guideline by FDA, we are allowed to put it directly for a food contact surface.
Thank you.
Great question, Michelle. Bree's eyeing me, and then I see Dave and Joe.
Sorry, everybody has lots of questions.
It's a good thing.
I was interested in what specific types of seaweed you were looking at utilizing and whether there are any environmental co-benefits to removing those seaweeds and utilizing them in this way.
Very great point, and I love this question. The beauty of seaweed is that it's a natural carbon sequester. It captures carbon and phosphate from the ocean, so it actually helps to clean the ocean, and it's not a feature of any specific seaweed species. However, we are working on only farmed seaweed right now. That is to ensure the food safety for direct food contact. The technology we're working on allows us to work virtually any seaweed. But my time and our funding is limited, so we haven't expanded into those species yet.
I think every entrepreneur in here can relate to that. Yidon, Dave has a question.
Yeah, so what products specifically do you think will be the hardest ones for you to design to make it so that it's like sturdy enough and so forth and so on? Liquid ones, food ones, what's the one that's the hardest?
That's a very interesting question. From a technical standpoint, I think all sorts of food packaging materials are equally challenging. But in terms of end consumer adoption for food packaging, the most important factor, the top one factor people think of is the cost. So the more material we use, the higher the cost will be, the harder it will for consumers to adopt. That's why we start with this paper coating, because you only need to apply a very tiny amount on it so that it doesn't add up too much cost to the paper. So to answer your question, if I'm going to use the same material to create a cup like this, it's going to cost a lot of material, and it will be harder for us to penetrate that market. That's why we start with this coating. And once we are able to scale up to a certain scale to bring the cost down, we will be able to penetrate further into all sorts of food packaging.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Joe.
Thank you. So you're providing the coating. So your product is the coating that we will supply to the manufacturer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Does the manufacturer need to adapt their equipment in any way? In other words, can they just incorporate this directly into their production process? Or do they have to do something specific to their machinery to adapt to this?
No, they don't need to, because for packaging converters, packaging manufacturers, essential equipment is printing equipment, and our coating is applied through that equipment that virtually every paper converter has in their site.
Rich, we have time for one more.
Terrific. Thank you. It seems like we've got a little competition on the seaweed side, and we've got some competition on the plant-based side. Can you just tell us why seaweed is a better solution than plant-based?
The plant-based bioplastics is a polymer that needs to be processed through a multi-step chemistry. So the biggest difference is the cost. Their cost will be at least 3 times to 5 times than what we are able to achieve. And like I mentioned, the top one factor people consider for when they're choosing their food packaging is cost.
Perfect. Thank you.
Quick follow-up question if you want, Joe. Yep.
You showed a fairly steep revenue ramp, going from, startup to 10 million in, a matter of a few years. How do you think you're going to achieve that?
We will start by collaborating with local, like I mentioned, a leading packaging providers. And once we are able to demonstrate succeed, we're actually already under discussion with them to run the pilot trials. And once we demonstrate the succeed over that, we can start marketing effort with other brands, and other brands can work with their converters to apply our coatings on their site. So we are not applying coatings onto paper, we're selling our coatings and selling the method of applying the coating, so that once we have the first successful case, other converters can just replace their current coating they're applying on their paper packaging with our coating. That helps us to scale in a faster way.
Fantastic. Yidon, tremendous job presentation tonight. How about another big round of applause for Seesaw?
Thank you. And thank you to my co-founders.
Just a reminder, folks, all of our entrepreneurs will be here throughout the evening, so if you would like to chat with them further, please do so. And of course, we invite you to continue supporting their business long after the event has ended. There's plenty of coastline here in Connecticut, Joe, so maybe you'll find yourself as an investor after all. Do we have any parents of younger children in the room here this evening? Okay, fantastic. Well, you're going to want to stay tuned because we've got an offer from our next presenter that I think you might be interested in. As we know, being a parent you always find yourself wanting to revive moments of your childhood, getting kids off the screens and embracing a simpler, a more meaningful world. In fact, most recently, the Connecticut Department of Education emphasized this by making play a priority, highlighting benefits like socio-emotional development and problem-solving skills. However, parents face a particular challenge of managing toy clutter while providing novel and engaging play experiences. Luckily, we're joined by founder Kim Conti and her business this evening, Orbit Crates, and they aim to completely disrupt the $28 billion toy industry by offering a new approach, renting toys instead of owning them. Kim brings 20 years of startup experience to this game and is leveraging AI to address the widespread issue, ultimately providing a benefit to our children, our homes, and our planet. Please welcome to the stage, Kim Conti.
Hi, I'm Kim Conti, the founder of Orbit Crates, and I'm taking my 20 years of AI, tech, and innovation experience to disrupt the industry. The $28 billion toy industry is fundamentally broken for the modern-day parent. As a parent myself, I desperately wanted to keep my young kids off of screens, wanted to adhere to expert advice about the importance of play and toys, and of course, wanted to give my kids fun toys at every stage of growth and development. But the reality is, this is what family life turned into. We'd spend more time picking up cleaning toys than we did actually playing together. We'd spend money on toys my kids may or may not play with. At the same time, my kids were bored or had simply outgrown toys that were no longer interesting to them. They were also overstimulated by rooms that look like this. You don't need to be a parent to understand just how pervasive the toy problem is in the US. The US makes up 3% of the world's kids, yet we consume 40% of the world's toys. On average, these toys are only used for 6 months at a time, which means there are more than 272 million unused kids and baby items in our homes today. It's no surprise that clutter is the #1 reason for stress in the household. And this isn't just a household problem, it's an environmental one. 90% of toys are made from plastic, which means they also end up in our landfills. All of this is despite the fact that early education research proves that kids do better with the fewer toys they have at any given time. The good news is Orbit Crates is solving this problem for parents today through a circular toy rental subscription for kids ages 1 to 5. More play for kids, less clutter for parents. Here's how it works. Today, parents can sign up for a membership on our website. They can pick 8 toys specific to their child's interest at that time from more than 500 catalog toys today. In 2 business days, the toys will be delivered to their doorstep, clean, inspected, and brand name. The kids have the joy of unboxing something new and exciting. The parents have the peace of mind knowing the toys won't stick around for long. Every crate and subscription comes with personalized ways to play based on that child and the toys they rented. But the best part of all is when the kids are done playing, parents can simply pack up the toys in the crate, go back on our website, and pick something new. They can put it on their doorstep, and we'll swap when done. The toys are contained, but the play is evergreen. We make money in 3 ways today. The primary method is through monthly subscriptions, which are $49 a month. Parents can also purchase toys directly from their crate, and we're in pilot now with selling retired products that have already cycled multiple times and we've made revenue on. In total, this means we have $344 of lifetime value per customer and a contribution margin of $249. Of course, we have plans to increase this revenue and retention numbers, and we plan to do this through things like gift cards to tackle the grandparent market. All of this has been enabled by a proprietary tech platform, which allows us to do 4 key things. Number 1, control the brand and customer experience. Number 2, drive retention through AI personalized recommendations. Now imagine going on this site and automatically seeing from our inventory what toys your child should rent next based on their interest and things they've rented before. We've built a proprietary inventory data that tracks our circular SKUs, and we're using AI technology to take unstructured data and structure it so that we can scale our operations. Imagine getting a bag of toys. We can take photos of those toys, collect all of the metadata, and get these toys posted to our website in a matter of minutes. All of this enables us to capture householding data tied to toy preferences and predict demand forecasting so that we have a defensible proprietary inventory data set. We've seen strong traction since we've been in market. We've successfully completed 80 rentals and counting. Our customers consistently give us 5 out of 5-star reviews and recommend us to friends. We are revenue generating, and we've seen organic growth in our mailing list and our social media channels. We've had proactive outreach from parent influencers, as well as national toy retailers like Melissa and Doug, excited to see what we do next. But most importantly, our customers are experiencing outcomes, like Amy, who's new to parenting and excited to minimize the stress and work of toy ownership right from the get-go. We have Chrissy, who already had toys, but she was able to declutter and excited about never having to go back to own toys like she used to. Then we have Sandy, who's a stay-at-home mom and is excited about introducing her son to personalized novelty every month based on what he's learning. And then Chris, who's just excited to save money. On average, our customers save $137 every time they rent instead of buy new. But these customers are not the exception. This is the norm today. Customers are doing more with less as conscious consumers. They're actively participating in the sharing economy. They're sharing their cars, they're sharing their homes, and they're sharing their clothes. And they're more open to shopping secondhand than ever before. We're excited about scaling what we've built to tackle the $28 billion industry by starting just in Connecticut as a strong opportunity in a beachhead market. We plan to do this through a variety of go-to-market strategies that we've already started to activate today, including one social media ad that we ran where we received higher than average click-through rates, through partnerships that we've already established with preschools, play studios, professional organizers, and more. Of course, we'll take advantage of those customer referrals and for a formalized referral program. We believe our product is differentiated enough to compete with traditional retailers, and our tech will enable us to compete with the emerging circular economy of toys. As a former chief product officer who took my last company to a Series B, I know what it takes to build products that customers love and teams and companies that scale. I have an amazing team of e-commerce AI developers, as well as experts in kids rental, reverse logistics, inventory, education, and social media. We're just getting started. The next 12 months is about growth to reach 200 customers. And then this is part of a four-phased approach that will help us scale Connecticut, New England, and then nationally through 3PL and reverse logistics and a strong focus on financials from the get-go. Today's prize would enable us to deploy capital immediately to help solve a problem that millions of parents are desperate to solve today and disrupt an industry that's inevitably ready for change. Thank you so much. We are Orbit Crates. We're excited about changing the future of play for happier homes and a happier planet.
Well done, Kim. Well done, Kim. That was fantastic. Judges, Joe's ready to go.
That was great, Kim. So can you talk a little bit about who your demographic is? You know, who's the target, the real target for this type of product service? One, and two, can you talk a little bit about, I'll call it churn. You know, you've got 80 customers. Have you lost anybody? Has anybody dropped off, and why have they?
Sure. So from target customers right now, it's primarily millennial customers, ages 35 to about 25. We find that we do really well first adoption, obviously first child turning about a year of age, because that's when they really start to play, and it's before they've accumulated tons of toys. We also believe that these customers are generally in the medium to high affluence, and we're targeting suburbs right now because that's where we're located, but we also believe that there's a play in cities as well. As far as churn goes, we have a target of 80% retention for all customers. So far, we have not churned any of our pilot customers yet. We really plan to focus on retention through personalization and recommendations. We know that will be key for us, and really truly believe that if we can get a customer from the get-go, it'll be a product that takes them through adolescence.
Thanks, Kim. Brianna.
Thanks, Rory. So given that the target age range is up to 5 years old, obviously families will age out of your program when their kids reach that age. So what is your strategy for kind of continuously attracting new families to buy this to replace the families who age out?
Yeah, I think we'll continue on the social media strategy as well as referrals and word of mouth. We know that moms love to refer products and parents love to refer products that they love today, and there's plenty of market in the toy industry today that's quite robust for us. The projections that you saw are specific to families of kids 5 and under, so we also believe there's a big revenue opportunity there. Long term, I think we're definitely open to renting more complex toys for older kids, but obviously we want to focus on our logistics for larger toys that are more appropriate for younger kids.
Michelle, and then Dave.
Hi there. Wow, I had that picture of my living room, playroom when my daughters were small. I think I even gave up a dining room at one point to turn it into the playroom, toy room. So I've been there. I also rented from Kiwi, I think it was Kiwi Crates, when my daughters were young. So here's my question. I'm curious about your pricing strategy and understanding your profit margin, because what your service is offering is, you're going to be shipping this, and then you're going to have to return it back. So I'm just curious how you make sure you're maintaining profit margins with that shipping expense that you're going to incur.
So actually, just to clarify, we plan to scale through a hub and spoke model similar to meal delivery services. So it would be a doorstep delivery service, and that's what those profit margins are based off of today. We believe that the complexity of shipping things like that, and I agree, would eat away at our profits, and so that's not why we're not going to do it. What we would do is leverage the last mile providers, which are frankly on the rise more than ever before because everybody's using delivery services to doorstep delivery. So that's our focus now, is not the shipping, and really focused on that cost right from the get-go.
Thanks, Kim. Rich has a question.
Thanks, Kim. Two questions, actually. I just want to be clear on how the business works. Are you buying the toys? Number one, and I'll ask the second one also. How frequently can I return those crates?
Yep. So this is our inventory mix today. When we first started, we were buying primarily retail because we're pretty customer-centric. We were just making sure that we could service our customers. What's happening is people are hearing about us, and they are donating lots of bags of toys, which is why we want to scale that inventory process. And this is actually great for us because we actually believe we can get our cost of inventory down quite significantly through donations, some mix of secondhand purchases that we do, and then, of course, buying some new and wholesale for the new hot toys that are coming out. And I'm sorry, what was the next?
How frequently can I return the crate and get new stuff?
Yeah, so right now in our trial period, we were open to doing a little bit of test on limited swaps because we wanted to understand what customer behavior would be. On average, customers actually swap less than, like every 6 weeks, which is great for our margins. So we're billing them monthly, but they're not swapping monthly. And then our plan is to basically build in tiered subscriptions where maybe they have unlimited swaps, but it's at a higher price point.
Very good. David, last question.
So I promise to be your next customer. I have a 7, 5, and 3-year-old right now. So my question is the returning, right? Because my kids lose, break, and whatever. I guess I understand the point. They have fewer things to break, lose, and whatever. Mm-hmm. But how many people have actually returned all the inventory?
Yep.
And what happens when they don't, and how does that work?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We have one more slide on this. So right now our average break rate is actually only about 2%. The loss rate is 8%. It's a little higher than we want it to be, and we actually are going to get that down quite considerably with our new inventory tracking system. Typically what this usually means is that we're losing only pieces of toys, and the good thing is for our customers, there's no set return date. So they basically just are saving a spot until they find that item. From a customer perspective, what they're actually allowed to do is they get a 2-time accident forgiveness policy, which is built into our model. So basically, 2 times that you lost or break something, you're still covered. And then we would obviously charge it as you break it, you buy it, and customers are pretty open to that. And then finally, we think there's even a revenue stream around microinsurance, which actually could be profitable for us.
Judges, thank you. Orbit Crates is set up right over here for those of you interested in starting your subscription tonight. How about another big round of applause for Kim Conti and Orbit Crates? Our next startup this evening is 404 Inc. 404 Inc. was born out of the groundbreaking research at the University of Connecticut, where founder Preda Rout and Professor Gregory Sotzing have spent years engineering safe, nature-based molecules inspired by cannabinoids. Their mission is to transform how we see and treat the human body, quite literally through plant-derived fluorescent contrast agents that replace toxic synthetic dyes used in medical imaging. 404 Inc. is redefining what natural can mean for the future of healthcare. Safe, bright, and biocompatible. Please give me a warm welcome to bring Preda Rout to the stage.
Do you have the clicker? Thank you. Hello, everyone. Introducing 404 Inc., where
we are advancing diagnosis for optimal patient experience. In a standard CAT scan procedure, patients are given a liquid containing radioactive and heavy metals to detect disease like cancer. And it is given to patient 1 hour before. And that 1 hour is critical because that is the time required to highlight organ inside the human body. The very tool that meant to diagnose is making people sicker, weaker, and it's rising up the cost of care. Today, the global market of contrast media have crossed $6 billion, and it is expected to cross $10 billion by 2030. In fact, every year, 96 million scans are done in the United States, which have resulted in 2 million patients suffering from allergic reactions and 5 million cases of kidney failure. And this is the risk the medical community has accepted because there is no other alternative until now. We have developed world's first noble metal-free contrast media from hemp. Our contrast media is a safer alternative to the existing contrast medias, which is containing gadolinium and iodine. Also, it is smartly designed for multi-use market. Our contrast media, or plant-based media, is inherently fluorescent, which provides high clarity and accurate data. In 2018, this hemp product was approved by FDA to treat epilepsy in children less than 5 years old, which speaks about its safety. We stand out from our competitors by providing far greater value. We are easy to administrate, we have balanced flavor and non-toxic, and we are bio-inspired. We have started 8 months back. From February 2025, we have participated in multiple NSF ICOPS programs where we have done 60+ customer discoveries, including hospitals, clinicians, and radiologists. And what we have found that there is a huge gap in creating a sustainable and bio-based contrast agent. And in that, we have won multiple prizes, and we are featured in Accelerate UConn, Yale Innovation Summit, and recently, we got highlights at Connecticut News Health. And we have so far raised $30,000, and also we have secured our IP in our traction. Now, to bring this product to market, we must pass through 6 stages of regulatory affairs. And our regulatory pathway follows FDA's 505(b)(2) approval process, which is designed for product containing active ingredients which are pre-approved by the FDA. This allows us a leverage to use their toxicology and safety data sheet. Now, to unfold this, we will start in our first year doing a GMP-grade synthesis and then use it for preclinical stage like toxicology and stability testings, and followed by our pre-IND meetings and pre-IND submission and phase 1 trial, and in which we'll simultaneously also do sensitivity check in the human body, and then followed by phase 2 trial where we will extend the subject numbers, and then in our phase 3 trial, we will increase the clinicians or imaging industries, and then we'll submit our NDA for the FDA approval. And by 2031, we are aiming to get our product FDA approved, and we'll be ready to enter $12 billion market. Now, to get that, we have an estimated budget. And to get that, we are raising our pre-seed round of $500,000, which includes Wolff Venture, SBIR Phase 1, and angel investors. Now, this $30,000 money from Wolff Venture will act as a catalyst for our company. We'll use that to do our lab setup where we buy sophisticated instruments, and we will use that for doing consulting service for the GMP grade and our preclinical testing. Then we are planning in coming years to raise seed round of $1 million for our preclinical and toxicology studies, and followed by Series A and Series B of $3 million and $7 million, respectively. Now, this dream is driven by a multidisciplinary team. I'm Pragati Raut, CEO and co-founder of 404 Inc., and a PhD student at UConn, having experience in chemistries and expertise in fluorescent materials. And my co-founder is Dr. Greg Sodzing, who is professor at University of Connecticut, having 40+ patents and a deep expertise in advanced materials and scalable synthesis. Our operation and growth is supported by Dave Jenkins, having 30+ years experience in healthcare and life science, which will help us in writing grant proposals. And then we are mentored by Dr. Lakshmi Nair for our regulatory affairs, who is also professor at UConn Health and a co-founder of Solia Bioscience. One day, someone you love will need a scan. And that moment they deserve is safety, clarity, and hope, not a toxic compromise. Thank you, everyone. That's my time.
Fantastic, Pragati. Thank you so much. Rich is going to kick things off for us.
You bet. Thank you. I just want to understand how the marketplace works. The buyer, the ultimate buyer of your product, is it hospital groups? Is it practices? All of the above?
Yes. So the buyer will be the GPOs, which provide those contrast agent to private clinics, hospitals, and other things.
And the price that you envision, is there a price difference between what's on the market today, albeit with the problems that those products have, and yours?
We will be a little higher, while because of these GPOs, they could sell with the huge discounts, and they could sell it to $30 and $40. And what we calculated, based on that, we could sell up to $50, depending, because that also leverage that with hemp productions, the price of our starting material will reduce, and that can also be managed in the coming future.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pragati. Thank you for the question, Rich. Michelle.
So thank you for this interesting presentation. I'm curious, you have quite a long timeline in order to get FDA approved. You've done some customer discovery. How do you get out there and generate some potential customer excitement about this in the meantime?
So we are planning that in coming future, we will do awareness program where we will, because most of the people doesn't know what they are putting inside their body. Those contrast agent that I'm talking about contains heavy metals like gadolinium and radioactive metals like isotopes of iodine, which is causing kidney because they cannot be absorbed by kidney. And this knowledge or this idea, not many people know. So we will start by awareing, camping, and all type of things in the coming future, in which patient can go and tell to their doctor that we need 404 Inc. Yes. And also the radiologist, too. Yeah.
Michelle was saying that she's looking for the patient to be advocating for the doctor, for those who didn't hear. Brianna.
Thank you so much, Pragati. One question that I had around your kind of revenue projections and how big you think this can get. Are you thinking about targeting just the population that has an allergy or a specific aversion, the customer that might proactively opt into this? Or do you think that this can kind of disrupt just the broader market in general and eventually replace the more synthetic chemicals that are currently used?
That's a very good question. So having allergic reactions, that might be to certain group of people, but having the kidney failure, it is common in all. Because these, the gadolinium and the iodine, that is cannot absorbed by the tissue of kidney. So it is common in every, and that is the main problem, and that what needs to be replaced by our bio-inspired contrast agents.
Thank you. Next question from David, and then I'll get to you, Joe.
Yeah, great presentation. My question is, are there other patents out there for other contrast agents, not hemp or metal or other things, or people have tried other ones in the past, or what's the competitive landscape toward alternatives?
That's a very good one. So so this contrast media, there was previously, which was there, patented, was gadolinium one, which was used in an extensive way, like every CAT scan, every MRIs, but that has been replaced by iodine,
which is the hospitals are saying, which is the new patents, which is iodine-based, like in the name of ISO-V and other brand products. But the thing is, iodine has 3 isotopes. And the one which is stable, which is used in your table salt, that cannot be used in the reactions. In the reaction step, you have to use the one isotope of iodine, which is radioactive. And that, no replacement has been done. So that's what we are doing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Prakati. Joe.
So given the timeline, you've got a 6-year timeline to get through FDA approval. It doesn't seem like you're raising a lot of money to get there. I mean, typically these things are pretty cash intensive. So can you talk a little bit about that? It seems like you feel like you're going to not need all that much money. So can you talk about what your cash needs are going to be and how you think you're going to get there?
So what we thought with our initial calculations, because we are going through 505B pathway, which saves our time, which saves our cost, because we are taking leverage from Epidiolex, which is approved for treating epilepsy in children. So based on that idea, we calculated our target money for now. But in case if we need, then we will go for other rounds, and we can gain more money or more fundraising for that.
Thank you, judges. Pragati, fantastic job presenting tonight. One big round of applause. Pragati Rout and 404 Inc. Folks, we've made it to that time of the evening. We are upon our final presentation. I invite you to settle in. But the other thing I invite you to do right now, and I can't help but think about this very personally, like, if you haven't spoken to your mom and she's still around, give her a call, tell you love her, right? Moms are great people. They're really good, right? So I miss mine dearly. If yours is still here, tell them you love them. Our next innovator, our next business, and our next founder was born out of a decade of research and innovation and passion for saving mothers' lives. Their mission at Varda 5 is simple yet profound: to ensure that every healthcare provider, whether in a large hospital or the back of an ambulance, is prepared to respond effectively when a mother's life is at risk. At the heart of Varda 5 is obstetric life support, an evidence-based, simulation-driven training program that equips clinicians with the knowledge, skills, and confidence to manage maternal emergencies. Guided by a deep commitment to quality, safety, and equity, Varda 5 is transforming how we train and respond to life-saving moments. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage Dr. Andrea Shields.
Thank you. Thank you, Rory. Good evening. Hello. I'll just start. No one thinks that pregnancy is going to be filled with nightmares, medical complications, but for far too many women in our country, it is. We know that 90,000 pregnant or postpartum women a year have life-threatening medical complications. In fact, just last week, there was a study published out of pregnant population here in the Northeast. 1 in 7 have some kind of heart-related condition in pregnancy. These aren't, extra beats. These are heart attacks. These are strokes. These are blood clots. These are things that are leading to cardiac arrest and death in our pregnant and postpartum moms. And this equates to over 500,000 women in our country who are experiencing some kind of life-threatening illness. To make matters worse, we now know that only 1 in 10 healthcare workers are prepared, adequately trained to respond to these medical emergencies. And this is in part contributing to the United States having the ubiquitous distinction of having the highest maternal mortality rate of all developed nations in the world. Why is this happening? Well, we know that traditional CPR, the kind of cardiopulmonary resuscitation that all healthcare workers receive, doesn't work in pregnant women. Why is this? Well, as women progress in pregnancy, their bodies change. And there's critical adaptations to CPR that healthcare workers need to understand, but unfortunately, they don't. Despite this gap in knowledge and urgent calls from regulatory bodies like the Joint Commission to get healthcare workers trained, hospital leaders and EMS leaders do not have access to standardized training in this realm, and they're desperate for a solution. And that's where my company comes in. Hello, my name is Dr. Andrea Shields. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Varta5, and we're helping healthcare leaders get access to training solutions for events like these. This is very personal to me. I actually developed a cardiac-related condition after the birth of my twins, and I have a lived experience of having a medical team that didn't know what was going on with me, and it took 5 months, multiple cardiologists, and visits to 5 different hospitals for them to finally tell me what I had and treat me properly. So this, for me, is mission critical. I will not stop. I will not stop until every healthcare worker is trained. Our solution that I developed with 35 experts around the country and Canada is obstetric life support, or OBLS. And it's innovative, and I'll tell you why. It's like other standard resuscitation courses. We have online learning that engages our learners. They get instructor-led skills training. We have communication and teamwork training as well. But what's really innovative about this program is that we looked at it from the chain of survival. And what do I mean by that? We know pregnant women can have these problems anywhere, at home, at the soccer field, at work, on their way to the hospital, or in the hospital. And we wanted to contextualize our courses to where the problem was. Because we know paramedics have a different set of resources than people in the hospital, than people in the ICU, than people in rural America, right? So that is, what our value prop is that we customized all our courses so that we could meet the healthcare worker where they were responding to this medical emergency. Our business model offers licensing of our proprietary materials, end-user certifications both initially and recertification every 2 years, as well as a rental equipment of simulation equipment to support the courses. We believe with our strong business model that revenue will come in with train-the-trainer contracts, as well as end-user certification, tiered licensing contracts with large healthcare systems, as well as medical simulation centers that'll offer our courses, and then rental of our simulation equipment, which is customized for this problem. We have tested our courses in different environments and published in an international high-impact journal. And what we found, again, less than 10% of healthcare workers with current resuscitation standard training knew what to do in a medical emergency in a pregnant or postpartum mom. But when we gave them OBLS, we got that to over 90%. Our customer satisfaction rate is greater than 95%. Dr. Krista Melhoff took our course and actually ran a maternal code not too long after in the real world. She said she was more confident, more organized to lead her team. Lieutenant Sutton is a seasoned paramedic. He's taken countless emergency training courses. He said OBLS is the most comprehensive training he's ever taken and necessary in paramedicine because they only get 4 hours. 4 hours of obstetric training. Imagine someone trying to take care of you after receiving 4 hours 10 years ago. Incredible. And then Cheryl Roth, she's one of our seasoned nursing leaders. She said that one of her OBLS participants came up to her at a national nursing meeting, gave her a big hug, and said, OBLS saved one of my patients' lives. We believe that we can corner this market on CPR training and medical simulation, which numbers in the billions. We do this by our serviceable market, which is over 30,000 EMS agencies and hospitals that employ over 6 million healthcare workers that take care of pregnant and postpartum women in our country. We have very limited competition in the market. We are the only program that offers comprehensive maternal cardiac arrest training, and we are the only program that addresses the entire chain of survival like I talked about and is steeped in strong clinical evidence. My team has over 70 years of combined experience in resuscitation, obstetrics, simulation, and education, and they are leading instructor training throughout the country. So where are we now? We have already secured over $5 million in research and development to test our product in different environments. We have participated in the UConn Summer Accelerator, Project Healthcare in Nashville, as well as the regional NSFI Corps, and we've been nominated to the national NSFI Corps. We're in the market testing phase, and without any marketing, we've already secured $42,000 in service contracts for Train the Trainer courses, as well as statewide implementation in 2 states and their EMS agencies. And going into 2026, our traction includes, actually I talked to 2 departments of health in 2 different states this week, to service over 90 hospitals in each state, as well as several other states that have been very interested in our program. We have 600 healthcare workers that are already trained and over 100 instructors across 12 states that are using OBLS. We believe, we're gonna go hit the market and save lives and make money. We do have modest losses in the first 2 years as we build out our infrastructure and get our partnerships, but by year 3, we're turning a profit at $7 million, and by year 4, $18 million. And this again is through certification, train the trainer courses, and our rental equipment. The impact of $30,000 today is that we could buy equipment to support 6 more train the trainer courses, and really that allows us to scale because we're able to get instructors, about 300 more onboarded, and the downstream certificate revenue will result in a $450,000 revenue cycle. A vote for VARTA 5 is a vote for your mothers. It's a vote for future sisters, daughters, and partners who deserve a chance to live. We are ready to scale OBLS across the country and really make surviving a pregnancy not the exception, but the expectation. Will you please join us in building our company, in changing outcomes, and making doing good, good business? Thank you.
Thank you, Andrea. Fantastic. Judges, Bree has her hand up and ready to go, a mother herself.
I also have twins. Thank you very much for the presentation. Maternal mortality is a huge issue in the US, I think most acutely within rural and disadvantaged communities. Do you know what percentage of maternal mortality is related to cardiovascular issues specifically?
Excellent question. So it's the number 2 cause. However, when you lump it all together, so they tend to sparse out cardiovascular causes into different buckets. It's about a third of all maternal deaths right now is cardiovascular, and it really is one of the leading causes. Usually it's, infection actually has now emerged as the number 1. Last year it was mental health. So, obviously this is a global issue and there's a lot more inputs than just education and training, but that's one aspect that we at least, I think, can control.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bree. Thank you, Andrea. Judges. Rich.
Just a question on the grant money that you flashed up. Have you received $5 million in grant money to date?
So to date, we are in year 3 of 2 grants. For one, we're doing Train the Trainer implementation in the state of Arizona, targeting maternity care deserts. And the other one we're actually doing here in the Northeast. We're testing our refresher course in a randomized trial. But we've received to date around $2.2 million.
Got it. Do we still have money in the bank?
We still have money in the bank.
Okay, thank you.
David, looked like you had a question.
Yeah, congratulations on what you've done already so far. Amazing initiative. I love it. You keep saying rental equipment. I mean, do you sell equipment that people will then use? I mean, is there specific equipment that people need to employ your strategies, or are you just renting it out for training?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So it's an answer in 2 parts. We did work with an international simulation company to make a customized simulator. You can go over to our table over there and check it out. But we also have a patent in process for our own more portable, more affordable simulator. Ben Sutton is actually working on that. And so I think there will be revenue streams coming in both ways because we do own a portion of the international simulator as well. But this one we're making through VARTA 5, so we're excited about that.
Thank you, Dave. Michelle?
I was just looking for some more information on your business model, specifically your revenue model and the different ways that you make money. I understand that you've got a licensing and then you've got instructors. Are you allowing people to become certified instructors and then deliver this curriculum? Are you directly hiring the instructors? Can you just clarify your revenue model a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah. So that's an excellent question. We do have kind of a pyramid scheme, if you will, and ways to put it. We will go into region. Let's say we went into Connecticut, into Hartford. We would do a Train the Trainer course, which brings in money for us. We would then identify instructors that are top performers. They take a Train the Trainer class virtually. Then they do what's called a teach back. So we either send a national faculty there, either in person or remotely. for the first couple of classes for quality control, and then they go ahead and teach beyond that. We don't plan to pay those instructors for that, but we will make money through the certificates. So we own and control the certificates downstream. I do pay my national faculty to go and do train the trainer and oversee kind of the quality control of all the courses. But yeah, the other way that we envision making money when we get a little bit larger is through licensing. And so licensing to large healthcare systems, and that's kind of negotiating the certificate fee structure based on how many learners they give us. But also licensing to simulation centers if they want to host courses once they get their cadre of instructor pool.
Thank you.
Judges, thank you. How about a big round of applause for Andrea Shields and her Varda 5 team. All right, folks, that concludes our formal pitches for the evening, but now comes the fun part for all of you. Up on the next slide, other way. How about a big round of applause for all of our presenters tonight doing an amazing job. And as a reminder, all of our organizations, all of our startups are here tonight as part of our showcase. Please go over and see them, say hello, pass out your business cards, and sign up for a subscription if available. Okay, folks, now comes the fun part. Take out your phones right now, and I need you to snap a pic of that QR code and head on over to the website and begin to cast your vote for the 2025 FML Audience Choice Award. So go ahead and do that right now. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be up here tonight, sharing the stage with all of our amazing presenters, our amazing CCEI team. And up next, I'm very excited to introduce my friend and colleague, Michelle Cody, the lead instructor at CCEI, to share a few words. Big round of applause for Michelle.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As we watch the judges make their way out of the front of the room and into our green room to deliberate, I have the honor of introducing our keynote for the evening. But before I do that, I just want to give an incredible shout out to all 5 of our presenters tonight and all of the incredible CCEI affiliated startups that have joined us in the showcase portion of our evening tonight. Big round of applause, everybody. I serve as lead instructor for CCEI and have spent the last 10 years helping to build and grow the programs that you've been hearing about tonight here. And what's remarkable to me about what we just listened to and what we're experiencing tonight is that the community of entrepreneurship that we have helped to develop over the last 10 years, I think has surpassed any of our imaginations. When I worked with Tim Folta to pitch the Wolff family on establishing this competition 10 years ago when I first got back to UConn, I don't think that we could ever have imagined the results that would be as part of this work. $600 million in follow-on funding from our alumni is one incredible measure of the work that's been done here, but more importantly, the products, the services, the ways in which our entrepreneurs have been able to help change lives for people here in Connecticut and across the nation is just remarkable. So it's been an incredible honor to watch that growth, and thank you all for being a part of it. I see a lot of faces who have been here with us since the very beginning, and we appreciate that support. All right. So at this point, what I want to do, as promised, is introduce our keynote speaker for the evening. I think there we go. All right. We're so lucky that Steve has agreed to come and join us for this evening. Many of the startups that you've just heard from are in the trenches in trying to figure out how to bridge conceptual ventures into reality, and Steve offers expertise in that process. They learn as they move forward that Scaling and success brings a whole new set of challenges from the ones that they're transcending from being up here on the stage tonight. They have questions like, how do you grow without losing focus? How do you lead without burning out? Or burning out your team in the incredible challenge that's ahead of them. Steve is the creator of Summit OS, a powerful framework designed to help leadership teams think clearer, move faster, and build businesses that truly run themselves. He's a best-selling author of 4 books, the host of more than 300 podcast episodes, that's a lot, and a coach to CEOs and founders across the country who want to grow their companies with clarity, confidence, and purpose. Today, he joins us to share insights that every entrepreneur in this room can use, not just to build their successful ventures, but to build sustainable ones. Please join me in giving him a warm welcome, Steve Preda.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Good evening, everyone. It's an honor. I'm honored and excited to speak to this event celebrating entrepreneurship and to be speaking to you, an audience of passionate entrepreneurs yourselves dreaming about building your next businesses. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the people who make this remarkable event possible. First and foremost, the benefactors, the Wolff family, the founder, Tom Wolff, late Tom Wolff, his wife, Betty Wolff, and their children, Greg, Gary, and Debbie, and Greg's son, Keith, without whose continued commitment, this event would not be possible, and who help empower the next generation of entrepreneurs. I'd also like to recognize Jennifer Mathieu, who is the executive director of this Connecticut Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation, and her outstanding team who have created a world-class event here and supporting these founders every step of the way. Did you guys like the pitches tonight? Raise your hand if you did. These founders are amazing, aren't they? So over the past 23 years, I have helped over 150 businesses empower their teams, clarify their vision and strategy, and execute with discipline as an investment banker and as a business guide. And in parallel to this, I built 2 companies. The first one, MB Partners, which was an investment banking firm, which I grew to market leadership in Hungary and eventually sold to private equity. And the second, the Summit OS group that I started 2 years ago to help already viable companies triple their value in 3 years. Along this journey, I've learned many, many lessons, out of which I selected 3 lessons that I feel like I want to share with you tonight because it's going to help you build better businesses faster and with less pain. So shall we get into it? All right, so the first lesson is build a powerful why. And I'd like to start with a quote. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow, from Friedrich Nietzsche. So why I would like all of you to really dig in and build a powerful why for your business. And let me tell you why you need a why. Entrepreneurship is really hard, and it's challenging, and it takes for a long time. Most businesses take 10 to 15 years to really come to fruition, even though the founders are sometimes young, but they also started young. If you're just chasing money and the dollar, it's going to be unsustainable because you need a why to feed your soul so that you are able to motivate yourself to get out of bed every morning and also motivate the people around you who also you want to be connected to the business. Yes, there are unicorns, but they are pretty rare. So less than 1 in 1,000 companies turn into unicorns, so you cannot bank on becoming a unicorn. And my favorite quote around the why is when Steve Jobs was asked by the board, it was his first round being the CEO of Apple, and the board didn't like his leadership style, and they basically told him that you have to get another CEO in your place. And he went to John Scully, who was running PepsiCo, and he asked him the question, John, do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to come with me and change the world? And he did come with him. So my personal journey and my why, I didn't really get this concept for a long time. So when I started my first company, MB Partners, what I wanted to do, I wanted to make a lot of money. I wanted to build a big business that I was going to be proud of. That was what drove me. And when the political wind started blowing against us and things started going astray, then I went searching for new markets, eventually came to the US, and eventually sold my business. I didn't really have a why that would keep me going. And when I came to America, I still didn't get this. And I became a franchisee with Vistage, a CEO peer group company. And the older senior Vistage coaches, they asked me, Steve, what is your why? What do you really want? Why do you want to be a Vistage coach? And I thought this was BS. I just wanted to be coached by the best company, Vistage. I wanted to be successful. I thought that it was all about hustling, signing up clients, and providing good content to them, providing good coaching. And that's what the business was about. However, about 5 years ago, when I was doing the research for my book, Buyable, I stumbled upon a statistic that really moved me, which was that every year about 180,000 companies disappear because they run out of cash, or they get disrupted, or they get commoditized, or they are not able to attract the right people or keep the right people, or they can't transition the business to the next level of management or next level of ownership. And I called this disease business COVID. And basically, I had this idea that I want to work on eradicating business COVID. And that's why I founded the Summit OS group, so that we can do that. So when I started to get this idea of this why, I started teaching it to my clients. And let me give you a couple of examples. So one of my clients was a coaching company for doctors. And their why became helping doctors reach escape velocity from these hamster wheel hospitals. Another client who was manufacturing packaging equipment, their why became saving people from unhealthy and unpleasant tasks when they were working in hot and dusty big warehouses. And the third company, their why became to help people realize their full potential and enjoy a better social life. That was a plastic surgery in California. So these companies got really excited about doing something big for other people. So how should you find your why? I'd like to share with you a process. So think about what gets you excited. What is it in the work that really makes you feel good when you get up in the morning? What is the impact that you're creating? Then peel the onion. What is the why behind the what? Because people like to gravitate, say, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm a manufacturer. I'm a service provider. But that doesn't matter. What matters is why you are doing it. What is the impact you're creating for other people's lives? And finally, if you're stuck, ask yourself a question that comes from Steve Jobs. How are we putting a dent into the universe? So if you'd like to work on your why, scan this QR code, and there is a free worksheet that you can download, and you see some of these examples and other examples, and you can work on figuring out your why. All right, you got it? Okay, so lesson number 2, leverage your constraints. The enemy of art is the absence of limitations, Orson Welles. So constraints are really a huge creative catalyst for your business. And I came upon this concept, I was researching for another book, Strategy OS, that the most successful companies, they had huge constraints in their business, impossible constraints, and they somehow figured out a way to overcome it, and that became their competitive advantage. For you in the startup sector, this is a great opportunity because startups are all about constraints. You are running startups that don't have enough funding, and therefore you are forced to find novel ways of solving problems. And because you are finding a novel way, that can become a competitive advantage for you. My favorite example is IKEA. So IKEA was founded by a Swedish farm boy in the middle of nowhere on a Swedish farm, and his name is Ingvar Kamprad. And when he was 13 years old, he was a good student. He got some pocket money from his father, and he sent a letter and bought 100 pens from a Swiss pen manufacturer. He loves pens. And he started writing these letters to village folks selling those pens. And turned out he was a pretty good writer. And over time, this letter turned into a newsletter and eventually into the IKEA catalog, which was the most published document in the world, printed in 40 million copies in 2012. Then when he sold all the plant that there was a market for, he started dabbling in furniture. And he didn't have a sales force. He didn't have a showroom. He had nothing. So he came up with this idea that he would present the furniture at trade fairs around Sweden, and he would just hang on the price stickers on the furniture, which was a novel thing. He got banned by the trade association because of that. But that became, again, a unique thing that they did, and it became very successful with consumers. And when he got banned by the trade association, no one was allowed to sell him furniture. He would go across the Nordic Sea to Poland, and he would buy cheap furniture from the communist Poland, and then he started to build his supply chain in Romania and Poland. And there's also a story that one time he was observing that one of his managers tried to squeeze a table into a car, and it wouldn't fit, and he got so frustrated he broke off one of the legs of the table, and that gave the idea for the modularity. So that problem turned into the modularity of IKEA. So these constraints really helped to build IKEA into the dominant furniture retailer of the last 50 years. The second largest company is 1/10 of the size of IKEA. So let me tell you a couple of examples from my career with my company and my partners, how this helped us, the constraints. So when we started, we were focusing on advising on loans like SBA loans to entrepreneurs, and we got pretty good at it. So we kind of cornered the market with it. And the local SBA in Hungary, they got so pissed off with us doing all the job that basically they banned us. And we had to pivot overnight. And we started doing mergers and acquisitions consulting. And it turned out to be a blue ocean opportunity. It was a much better opportunity, and we could grow faster. Then the next thing that happened was we wanted to join an international network, and they snubbed us. They said we were too small. So we created our own network in Central Eastern Europe. And 2 years later, the biggest network asked us to merge with them, and they invited me on the board of that biggest network. So again, that turned into a limitation, turned into a huge win for us. And another time, we had a cash crunch, and I realized that we were going out of business if you couldn't accelerate our cash flow. And we basically hunkered down, and we figured out how to take a company to market instead of 3 months in 3 weeks. And that accelerated our cash flow, and it created a competitive advantage because everyone wanted to come to us to take them to market faster. So what I'd like you to do is to think about constraints not as a curse, but as a blessing. So constraints create a competitive mode for you, and it also helps you clarify the problem. And when you have a clear problem definition, it's half the solution. One word of warning with AI. So AI can only tell you a solution that has already been discovered by other people. That's not going to be a new solution. So if you want new solutions, don't over-rely on AI. And in general, your brain is a muscle. If you're not exercising it, you are going to lose it. So just be careful with AI. All right, lesson number 3. Seek out mentors and guides. Our chief want in life is somebody who will make us do what we can. Ralph Waldo Emerson. So, of course, I mean, you're here, you're startups, you are getting mentoring, but I'd like to make the case that mentoring is actually more important than you even think. Because information is now everywhere. It's ubiquitous. It's at the tip of your fingers. You just ask ChatGPT, but information is not wisdom. And when you work with a mentor, you get wisdom. And what is wisdom? It's the filtering of the information. So the mentors can help you filter it. They help you reflect on the information. And they also hold you accountable, which AI is not able to do that. It's only humans can do this job. So how can you get mentoring? There are many, many ways to get mentoring. I was fortunate early in my career because I had a couple of bosses. I worked for an investment banker and a CEO, and I followed them around. I watched them, how they show up. I took notes of the questions they were asking. And then I discovered audio CDs. That was in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I ordered the audio CDs of Brian Tracy and Jim Rohn and Zig Ziglar. And I was listening to these CDs, and they really inspired me to start my business. So when I started my business, I started reading business books. And one of the books I stumbled upon was Michael Gerber's E-Myth. And Michael Gerber, what he talks about in the E-Myth is that your business is a machine, and you can actually build it so that it runs itself, and you work on your business instead of in your business. And I thought this idea was genius. So I engineered my business based on the E-Myth concept. And then I started going to seminars, and I learned copywriting from Dan Kennedy. I come over the ocean, and I started sending direct mails and create a newsletter. So that really helped me elevate the business. And then when we merged with this network, then I traveled around the most successful investment banks, and I interviewed the partners, and I basically copied all their processes. I implemented in my business. I would never have succeeded without these great mentors that I had. So after I moved to the US, I joined this company, Vistage. And the reason I joined them was that I realized that none of the stuff I did in Hungary was working over here. So not the marketing, none of the sales. So I thought, okay, so I'm going to join this company. They will coach me how to do this. And then I had to form this CEO group. But really all I wanted to do was to get these high-powered CEOs in my group who were running much bigger companies than I was so that I can learn from them. Officially, I was the coach, but I was learning by osmosis from them. And then I joined EOS and Scaling Up to learn about operating systems. And then I started a whole podcast, and that was the best learning because every CEO I interviewed shared me their best framework. So I'm 300 coaching sessions in at this point. So why do I share this with you? The reason is because even though I got a lot of mentoring and coaching, I think I still missed a bunch of opportunities. So I have FOMO around this. I could have done even more. And the reason I didn't do it is because I was afraid of the overwhelm. I was afraid, I was insecure. I was afraid that they would expose my weaknesses. And what I forgot was that the opposite is true. When you have a great mentor, they provide you clarity, they give you validation, and then they help you focus on the important things. So they actually help you, and they also hold you accountable. So how do you find a mentor? So that's the easiest thing, to find a mentor, because mentoring is not just rewarding for the mentee, it's also highly rewarding for the mentor themselves. And mentors are hungry to have talented entrepreneurs that they could mentor. So just get out and ask people, even if you think that they are much better than you are, ask them to mentor you, and they will be happy to do so. Now, if you'd like to be mentored by a Summit OS guide, we are donating. Peter and I and my other colleagues, Peter Santry, my fellow Summit OS guide, is here. We are donating 3 45-day execution momentum programs to you when we are going to be intensively working with companies and help you implement all the basic management techniques into your business. I will share with you a QR code at the end of my talk. So the 3 lessons I wanted to share with you tonight. Lesson number 1, find your why. Find a powerful why. It's going to help you through the tough times. Lesson number 2, leverage your constraints. That is going to be the most powerful for your business when you find the biggest problem and you solve it. And 3rd, seek out mentors. That's going to cut years off your learning curve and make you a much, much better entrepreneur. And in closing, I'd like to share with you, whether you win a prize tonight or not, remember Winston Churchill. Success is never final. Failure is rarely fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Thank you.
Stick around for a couple questions?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Steve, thank you so much for all of those insights. While we have you, I was hoping that you might be willing to field a couple of questions, at least from me. So one of the things that it piqued my interest in the background that we had from you is that you talk about the importance of helping founders to overcome burnout, because the challenges are immense at every stage of the game. So could you touch a little bit on strategies that you coach startup founders on in order to avoid burning out themselves and burning out their team while they're shooting for the moon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so a couple of things that is really important. I have found, and I learned this too late in life, I learned it about 7-8 years ago, that you have to take at least 24 hours off every week. It is unproductive to work 7 days a week. It's in the Bible as well. So take 24 hours off, whether it's Saturday or Sunday or whatever other day is. It's really, really important. Secondly, you have to look after your health. So do exercise. What I find is if I do regular exercise, I actually have more energy in the remaining hours that I'm not doing exercise than if I didn't do the exercise. So make sure you are doing exercise. The third thing is compartmentalization is super important. So you as a founder, you are going to have a lot of stress in your life, and sometimes you're going to feel overwhelmed. And it's very important that you don't allow the problems to overwhelm you. So put the problems into a box, put it on a shelf, and make time in the week to deal with it, but don't allow it to take the oxygen out of the room. During 2008-9, during the financial crisis, my investment banking business, we almost went out of business. I had to cut the staff by 50%. It was a very tough time. We were deeply in debt, and basically, I couldn't pay my bills on time, and it was super stressful. Yeah. And the creditors were calling, and if I responded to everything, that I could not recover the business. So I decided that I was going to do 3 hours on Friday morning when I'm going to deal with this really difficult and unpleasant stuff. And the rest of the week, I'm going to forget about it and focusing on sales and growing the business. So I highly recommend that you work out your way of compartmentalizing so that you don't allow these problems to overwhelm you and to make you dysfunctional, because you have to grow the business, you have to be positive most of the time, and your staff also gets energy from you. So if you are stressed, if you are drained, your staff is going to be drained, and the whole company is not going to be effective.
Yeah, that's super, super important and much easier said than done, right? So can you tell us a little bit more about your Summit OS program and how you provide practical coaching to allow entrepreneurs to achieve that clarity of focus over what's important, compartmentalize, and do all sorts of things? And since you're being generous and giving away 3 opportunities to do that, what could founders that might be in the audience expect from being able to work with you guys?
Yes, so I mentioned Michael Gerber with the email. So he is the OG creator of an operating system. He was the original guy in 1986. And then there are many iterations. There's Great Game of Business, and then EOS is the most popular one. Scaling up, OKRs, you've probably heard of these systems. And what I wanted to do, I looked at these systems, and I felt that most of them focused just on the first phase of the journey, the execution phase. And the visioning and culture building, a little bit of systemizing, but didn't go very deep. And the other problem I had with those systems was they were very cookie cutter. So every company started at the same point and ended at the same point. It was a limited program, so just when companies were getting going, they flatlined because there was no longer learning, no new more learning, it wasn't customized. So what we did with Summit OS, we accelerated the front end of the process. So what the most popular operating systems do and take kind of spread out over 12, 18 months, we do it in the first 45 to 60 days. And then from that point, we customize the journey for the type of company. If it's a professional service company, we are going to focus probably more on leadership development, playbooks, strategy. If it's a construction company, we're going to work on management skills. And maybe function ownership. So we are going to customize the journey we are customizing the journey to these companies. We have a very deep toolkit So the job of our guides is to curate from this very deep toolkit those handful of tools every year that we are teaching to these clients. And what we want to do is help them, keep them growing. So not overwhelm them, but keep them stimulated, keep them excited about their journey, and hold them accountable so that they are executing well.
Amazing. Thank you for that overview. One last question for you. What advice would you give to startups that you've either met over here in the showcase area or based on what you see about the startups that pitched tonight?
The invite would be to scan the 45-day execution momentum and apply. So we have 4, actually we are donating at least 4, but probably more because our guides are volunteering for it. And also, you can download a copy of my latest book through the Summit OS website if you scan this other QR code. And if you'd like to learn more, come to the back of the room, and we have booths there, and I can give you another copy of the strategy book or the Bible, and we can talk more about Summit OS if you're interested.
That's fantastic. Steve, thank you so much for making the time to travel up to Hartford, Connecticut to be with us this evening. We really appreciate it. We will invite you to go back to the table in the back of the room and talk with people who may be interested. Thanks again for all of your help. All right, so as predicted, the judges' deliberation process is taking a little bit more time than we had planned for. All 5 of our presenters tonight did such an incredible job of pitching the value of their businesses and the impact of the funding that we have to give away today that I'm sure the decision has been really, really tough. Greg, does that mean that we're ready to go? Do they have decisions? Almost done. Okay. So at this point, what I think that we should do is allow you guys to grab one more plate of food, grab a drink, and I will reappear when we have final decisions to announce. All right? Hang in there tight, everybody. We're super excited about it. So at this point, what we are going to do is invite everybody from the back of the room to come on up and take a seat, if you would like one. We have a lot of checks, so you might be standing for a while if you don't grab a seat, but totally up to you. And we're going to get started with announcing the winners of our Showcase Awards. So this year, we have the honor of being able to have enough funding and support from our program sponsors to allocate funding solely to the companies that are in our showcase tonight. That means that none of our teams that were pitching earlier are eligible for the next few prizes. This is all going to CCEI alumni and affiliated teams that are continuing to actively grow their businesses, many of them right here in Connecticut. So the total amount of funding represented by these prizes is $65,000 in cash and pro bono services. Awards in these categories tonight were generously donated by some of our most loyal program sponsors, Fiandela Milone and La Saracena, Wigan X, Big Bang, and Reverie. And in order to kick us off this evening, I'd like to introduce Frank Milone, partner at Fiandela Milone and La Saracena, to present the FML CPA's Accounting Services Award.
Hey, everyone. Great to be here. Congratulations to the entire UConn team for just another step forward, major step forward in the event. It's an amazing event. We've been involved from the beginning, I think. From the beginning, yeah. And we continue to see the improvement in just the overall process. The teams are all amazing. I would not want to be in the judging room this evening because I'm sure it was really hard. But to be able to give it back, so I'm one of the founding partners of FML. We're a full-service firm. I run the firm's emerging companies practice, so we work with the earliest forms of entrepreneurs coming out of universities, coming out of incubators, and through the whole process, we surround that firm with advisory, audit, tax expertise, all the way through exit. So if you need that sort of stuff, we have a lot of people here. Please come talk to us. So the FML winner of the Accounting Services Award, and I'm going to mispronounce it again, Diane Farmer. How did I do? Did I mispronounce it or not?
Awesome. Feels good to get that money flowing. Love it. Thanks, Frank. Next, I'd like to introduce Adam Silverman, partner at Wigan & Dana and founding partner at Wigan X, which is the division that works exclusively with startups. Adam is here to present 2 Legal Showcase Awards. Come on up, Adam.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Adam Silverman, partner at Wigan & Dana. I work with a lot of startups. I got to wake up this morning and realize I'm handing out giant checks, which is always a good way to wake up. So let's get to it. The winner of the first Wigan X Legal Showcase Award is Alley Oop.
Where's Megan? Megan, are you here? Okay, we're going to go to the next one, and then we'll regroup.
All right. And the second award. Okay. I'll wait.
As a souvenir. There you go.
All right, congratulations. All right, the winner of the second Wigan X Legal Showcase Award is Atlas.
Love that. So founders, listen up. Your name may be called. I know it's hard to stop with the networking. That's what founders always want to do, but there's some good stuff headed your way. Next, I'd like to introduce Eric Rios of Big Bang to present the Big Bang Product Development Award.
Hi, everybody. It's been great to see these startups from the summer to now grow so much, and we're happy to help physical product device startups get to market, and we're proud to announce the winner of the award, Semi.
All right, so for our final showcase award of the evening, I'd like to reintroduce one of our judges, Michelle Augustin, who will be presenting the Reverie Digital Experience Award on behalf of the team at Reverie.
Right here?
You got it. Hold on.
Oh, okay. So do I just announce the company or read the whole thing?
Oh, we want you to present the whole thing.
Okay. Good evening. I have a little story to tell. So for the second year, Reverie recognizes a startup that demonstrates a deep understanding of its users, a clear need for digital platform, and the creativity and technical vision to bring that solution to life. The decision is never easy. With many inspiring founders and innovative teams emerging from the UConn ecosystem, this year's competition has showcased exceptional talent from across the world. After much deliberation, we are proud to present this year's Reverie Digital Experience Award to SwipeStorm, creators of the Restore app.
Congratulations to all of our showcase teams. It's been a phenomenal pleasure to watch all of you grow since you came through our programs. Now we are going to transition into the Pitch Awards. So these awards are open to the 5 teams that everybody saw pitch just a few moments ago. They were decided by the judges and the audience. Awards can be stacked, which is super exciting, meaning that individual teams can win multiple. And in total, we're giving out over $87,000 in non-dilutive funding and pro bono services in just the next couple of minutes. Sounds pretty good, right? Ready? All right. To give out our first pitch award, I'd like to welcome back, again, one of our judges, Brianna Barrett, to take the stage.
Thank you all so much. I am personally thrilled to be able to award this Bay State Financial Disruption Award to Varda 5.
Thanks, Bree. Congratulations, Team Varda 5. Up next, Joe Martino will be announcing the winner of the Angel Investor Forum. Of the Angel Investor Forum. We'll be announcing the Mark and Jamie Summers Innovation Award.
Thanks, everybody. This is great. I know Mark and Jamie pretty well, and I know this would really go down pretty well with them. So the award goes to Orbit Crates.
Congratulations, Kim and team. Now it's Adam Silverman's turn to come back on up to the stage to present the Wigan X Award.
All right, thanks. Last year, actually this morning, when I was telling my daughter that I'm handing out a big check, she said, whatever you do, make sure the person you hand this to is nice to their pets. So, judges, I hope you factor that in. All right, so the winner of the Wigan X Legal Services Award is 404 Inc.
Awesome job, Pragati. The next award was decided by you, actually all of us, right? It is the FMLCPA's Audience Choice Award. Please welcome back to the stage Frank Milone.
Thanks, everyone. So you have spoken, and the winner is Varda Fa.
All right. So we're going to making a transition to one more award category. These are the Wolff New Venture Awards. They are given to the startup that judges think has the most viable venture and most clearly defined path to market. All 5 startups that you saw pitched tonight are in contention for the Wolff New Venture Competition prize. You guys ready to see who the judges picked? To give out the 3rd place prize, sponsored by Prime Materials Recovery, Inc., please welcome David Bergman.
Okay, mine is very short, so that's good. The winner of the Prime Materials Recovery, Inc. 3rd place prize is 404 Inc.
Awesome. It's fantastic to see our team stacking up those big checks. Now I'd like to welcome Judge Rich Vogel up to the stage to announce CCEI's 2nd place prize.
Can't get this wrong. So congratulations to everybody. You have no idea how difficult a deliberation this was. The winner of the CCEI 2nd place prize is MLC Nutrition. Congratulations.
All right, the big moment is almost here. Time to reveal 1st place in the 2025 Wolff New Venture Competition. It's our 10th anniversary year, and it is so thrilling to stand up here and see the incredible impact that the generosity of the Wolff family and the community that they have helped to build here at CCEI has made possible. So as you heard before, Greg, Gary, and Deb have carried on their dad's legacy of giving back and supporting good ideas, which are also backed, this is actually pretty critical, by credible execution plans and a dedicated team. We're so lucky to have their example to follow and their support to allow us to do this work each and every year. So Greg, our thanks are never enough, but we offer them to you with hope that moments like these help you understand the impact of your family and the impact on the world around us. Greg, come on up. One quick note while Greg is making the approach to stage. Because this is a top prize, we like to hand it out with a little bit of fanfare. So Greg, you're going to talk about some things before we announce the prize. But when we do, we are going to be employing confetti cannons tonight, all right? Maximum fanfare. But they do create a loud popping noise, and we have very echoing walls. So please don't duck for cover. Just stand up and celebrate with us when that happens, all right?
Thank you, my dear. Wow. Yeah, what a night. I'd have to say that I have sat through all 10 of these, and tonight the presentations, I think, were just incredible, and I congratulate all of you because you've really done something special with your companies. Before we announce the winner, I really want to take a couple of minutes to thank the people. We've heard it all, but from our family standpoint, we got engaged in this 10 years ago, really before that, and the people who are supporting this event, CCEI and their whole team. You have Michelle and Rory, and you have two of the most special people I've ever worked with in my 50-year career, and I'd like to just recognize them, so maybe we can have them come up forward, please. Jen and Alicia, would you come up here, right here, please? So I will tell you that they have done so many great things. We started out really without either of them initially, I guess, starting out. And over the years, they have given us so many great ideas. CCEI has taken over and really run the program. But these two ladies, you have no idea how much energy and effort they put into making this evening possible. So we just want to say thank you, and we appreciate all you do, and we hope next year's even better. So a lot of challenge for you. So lastly, I'll just say this. The Wolff family has been involved, and we are going to continue to be involved. We were talking inside when the judges were dealing with who was going to win, and they were saying how state of Connecticut and really UConn have come so far in the entrepreneurial and really starter-up companies. And now they're ranked really up there with Yale in some ways as far as offering companies that are going to be successful and people just like you. So without further ado, we will announce the winner, which is Seesaw. So congratulations.
Fantastic. Huge congratulations to all of the startups that participated in tonight's event, all who are going home with fantastic prizes, and all who are continuing the journey to make our world a better place. Thank you all for taking the time to join us tonight. Have another beverage, have some more food, make some connections, and enjoy your evening. Thanks, everybody.